Yo, it's your boy AJ. I'm with Julian. I'm with Chubbs. I'm with Rage. Crazy game. About to talk
You
about
got the
Philly,
thing.
and we out of here.
Hoops World.
James.
Right here, the king is like, hey, guess what? I'm still the king.
I hit the streets just to get a bag. I pack, he got toe tagged. I punched the nigga for shorty. I'm John Woo with the 40. You not gang nor the homie.
I'm fine,
Don't
I'm
blow
good.
me, no, you don't know me. Gang shit, members only. You wasn't there, I was lonely. You wasn't there, I was lonely. Dog nice blicky on me. I was just stacking my commas up. Head down, trying to run it up.
Yes, sir. So we back at Hoops World, man. What a crazy game, man. This Philly game. The Philly ended up stunning the Memphis Grizzlies 110-105. Early on in that first quarter, man, Desmond Bain went crazy in that first quarter. I think he had 21 points. He was just on fire. Now, when Desmond Bain gets on fire like this, it's trouble because early on, Ja Morant was not hitting. It was a tough game for Embiid in that first quarter too. Embiid didn't look like himself. Harden was steady the whole game, and I just thought Desmond Bain just really pushed the Memphis Grizzlies ahead. And other thing about this first quarter, the Memphis played this 3-2 matchup zone that I really liked. This zone had Joel Embiid and Harden locked up in that first, and I think Memphis put it on them early. But what you think about that first quarter, Rage?
Yo, it looked like just off that first quarter alone, it looked like Memphis was going to take away with this game. Desmond Bain was insane. He couldn't miss.
Yeah.
It in the first quarter as well, when you go to the 76ers side of things, it was Embiid looked really, really out of it. I don't know if it was the second quarter, but there was a free throw that he was taking.
Yeah.
Or it was going into the second half, but Embiid was really, really tired. And there was a point where he had to literally start breathing.
His hands was on his knees. Yeah,
heavily.
they said he had an illness, bro. They said he had an illness, and I think he had a foot injury. That's what he was battling.
I gotta say, it showed up tonight. 5 for 22 or 6. Yeah. He said he went 6 of 23 tonight.
6 for 23. Yeah. So in that first half, like I said, it looked like Memphis was just dominating this whole game. They held Philly to 27% shooting from the field in that first half, and then 29. They held Philly to 29% from downtown. At halftime, it was 59-47 Memphis. Now, that third quarter came, and it's like kind of the tale of two halves. Memphis locked down Philly, and it looked like they had control, complete domination. Then in that third quarter, Philly made a little run. Philly made that little run in that third quarter, and it started becoming a little tight for Memphis. I think, again, Ja wasn't really good in that first half, and in the third quarter, he started cooking in that third quarter. What did you think Ja did well in that third quarter? Because I remember I texted you and I was like, yo, Shake Milton was guarding Ja, and who else? Tobias was guarding Ja, and it was like it just looked like Ja was struggling to score.
Well, it looks like he just had that extra pep in his step. Maybe something just clicked in. Yeah. It was about time he just started attacking. The shot was falling, so hey, that's all he really needed to do. And that's when Ja's really at his best, is when he's able to just push the pace and not overforce things.
Yeah, and then Desmond Bain had 21 in the first half, or 22, 20, and the second half he just disappeared. Oh, I was like,
ended the game with 25.
Ended the game with 25. I'm like, Desmond gotta stay steady through the whole game. But I think that was key for Philly to make that run in that third quarter. And then it comes in the fourth quarter. This is where they go on. I wrote it down here. Late in the fourth quarter, around 5 minutes, 97-91, Philly goes on a 5-0 run. And then they go on a 7-0 run. It's 99-93. Tobias Harris, you got to give Tobias Harris credit in this fourth quarter. He hit some big shots going down in that corner. They kept swinging it to the corner, swinging it to the corner, and he would hit some corner shots, and it really helped Philly make that run late in that fourth quarter. He made a big three, and then it's a 1-point game, 99-98 with 3 minutes left. Then 8-1 run by Philly. It was because again, we thought Memphis was going to win this game. If you're watching this as a spectator, you're like, okay, Memphis is kind of dominating. You get to this fourth quarter, and the Philly has the big three just lit up Memphis all in a row. It was Harden, Tobias, and then you see the steal right here. Harden gets the steal. Embiid dunk, and then it was just wraps for Memphis. I mean, what was the key to Memphis' downfall, you think, in this fourth quarter?
Ja Morant and Dillon Brooks didn't play well. It's like little things like that. Like Desmond Bane being their leading scorer tonight with 25 points.
Yeah.
On any other night, that should win you a game if one of Dillon Brooks and Ja Morant plays remarkably better. But just tonight, most of the main guys from Memphis didn't have it tonight. Ja Morant only had 15. Dillon Brooks only had 11. Triple J had 18. But it's just a second half meltdown scoring wise and shooting wise, because I think Philly just caught fire in that third quarter, and it wasn't able to come back. Like, it had to take Desmond Bane having a first half like he did to really keep him in the game, and it all fell apart.
Yeah, and with Joel Embiid too, man, it's like, I know Philly fans were kind of happy, like, because they probably thought they were going to lose this game. But even though Embiid really struggled this game, and Harden was just kind of that co-star that just kept him in it. And if Harden can do this in the playoffs, if I'm a Philly fan, if Harden can stay consistent like this in the playoffs, because we know what Embiid's going to give you on a nightly basis. He's a superstar. He's going to give you that 30 and 10. But I think it's key for Harden to be consistent. Like, he's got to be that co-star, and like he did tonight, stay steady through the whole game. Wait for your team to pull back with you, And I think Tobias gave him help tonight. Did Tyrese Maxey do good tonight? What did Tyrese Maxey have tonight?
Gave him 16. Then we added it.
A little light 16. Little wide Reese,
So it's like they got the pieces though, bro. So it's like, if they got the pieces, like, if I'm a Philly fan, like, what am I worried about in the playoffs if I got these pieces? You know what I'm saying? I got Embiid, Harden, Maxey.
From this standpoint, you have to look at it like this. Tobias Harris is great as the third option. Even with Ben Simmons there before the whole debacle happened, he was just remarkable as like that third guy, that third go-to guy to score. Even before Maxey. The thing was, in the playoffs, he struggles to put that together way more times than none. And for them to really be that team in the playoffs, he has to give you what he gave tonight. Not in a sense where he has to damn near be that corner sniper, but he has to give you a solid 19 on good efficiency. Could go off for one game in the playoffs type of style, because in the playoffs it's just different. James and Embiid are refed different, and
the game slows down.
That's literally it, bro. Like
on top of that, the court shrinks remarkably. So you really have to. I think Tobias is definitely an important piece. On top of that, Maxey too, because if Tobias ain't really got anything, they're going to look at Maxey. Because I really don't think any other reliable scorer option outside of
Maxey, bro,
Embiid and Harden is really going to give you anything.
I think Maxey's more important, honestly. Like, they're all important. Let me not say that, like Tobias, but I think we've seen I don't want to say we've seen enough from Tobias, because I mean, he's not old and you can turn it around at any time. But I feel like we've seen, bro, Maxey, from what we've seen from him. Obviously, bro, if you're gonna win, you need everybody to be on lock. But ultimately, James Harden didn't play bad in the playoffs last year by any means. Like, he was never ass, right? The problem with him is, like, he can have a good game, but ultimately his production will be cut by at least 25% always, because he relies on free throws. That's just, it is what it is. He can have his nights where, like the night he had against Brooklyn, like, that shit shocked me. I was like, damn, I haven't seen you do this in like your whole career. Like, I maybe seen you do this 2 times, right? But ultimately, that's why'd you say that?
The Philly fans are gonna be tired of you.
But I'm gonna give you analysis though. But ultimately, bro, like, Joel Embiid, I'm gonna throw him in there too. Joel Embiid and James Harden, bro. The refs have to really be generous to them to win. Like, that's the problem. Like, with Boston and Milwaukee, like, they don't need the refs, bro. Like, Philly relies so heavily on the refs, bro. Like, they really do. Like, so many, like Joel Embiid, it gets like saved sometimes, like scoring wise, where like
that's part of the game. Like, that's part of the game, because they know, everybody knows, like, that's what their game is. They're trying to get their fouls,
and
because
that shit.
they're great free throw shooters, so they're taking
They're great
advantage
free
of
throw
that.
shooters.
They're not going to miss free throws, so they're just going
And
to. You know what I'm saying?
it's not about like I think people confuse that with you like shitting on free throws. Like, nah, free throws is a part of the game, but when it messes with your mentality in terms of attacking the basket and putting the ball in the basket. That's why foul baiting and putting that as a mainstay in your offense, as a pattern in your offense, bro. Like, that's the problem with it. There's nothing wrong with free throws. There's nothing wrong with getting to the line as a skill. But when you have James Harden and Joel Embiid, where like James Harden, bro, that's like 35% of his offense, not his offense because he can pass, but scoring wise, that's like 35 to 40% of his production scoring wise. And when they take that away, and when the ref decides in the playoffs, right, that, hey, bro, I'm not calling that weak shit today, bro, that flailing your arm shit, and I'm really not finna do that for you tonight. I think that I think Joel Embiid will always be able to get to the line consistently because he's a center.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I don't know, bro. I think they have enough to do it right now. But from what you said about James Harden has to be this, I don't think James Harden can be this. I mean, like, he was struggling when he was in the peak of his career. He's not old at all by any means. He's still in his prime. But I don't know, bro. I don't really think James Harden. I think he would really have to add a couple things to his game, and he's refused to do that. He played great tonight, and he's still a great player, and he's still on his bullshit. But I don't think I haven't seen it, bro. I'm be real with you.
Well, I'll offer this perspective. In hindsight, James Harden is in the same position Ben Simmons was with this team a few years ago, in which you have a Joel Embiid who is at the top of his game. Like, it's at the top of his game. You got your shooters like Tobias. You got your shooters like Tobias, Niang. Now you got Daniel House now, and just like you have guys to shoot now. It's not necessarily like compared to your Rockets days where you had shooters at the wazoo, but you have good viable role players to where they can take the pressure off of you. You don't have to be that Houston Harden guy. Honestly, I don't think they expect him to be the Houston Harden on the Sixers. So more so in the playoffs, it's really simple. Be the point guard, score when needed, and feed the ball to Embiid when he needs it. Because for most of the part, you do want that ball in Embiid's hands in the clutch.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Just especially against a team that nobody can really put a body on them. Like, obviously versus the Bucks, that's a different story. But Giannis
and the Celtics, like, bro, I think they'll obviously do damage, but I just think against, like, because I hear a lot of people talk, because he is obviously in his current state. James Harden is way better than Ben Simmons, right? Even where James Harden was like in Philly. But the East is just, even though the Brooklyn Nets have been disbanded in terms of like their power level, bro, the Bucks and the Celtics alone, and then you have the Heat, them alone, just like the East is so stacked for them. And I think the Celtics are more gritty. I think the Celtics, bro, they're hoopers, bro. You can't take nothing away from them. Like, they play way better defense. I don't know, bro. I don't see them getting through the Celtics or the Bucks, bro. Be real with you.
I think it's vice versa. I think they match up way too good with the Celtics. In a sense like this, I really don't. I love Tom Lord, but Embiid, him on Embiid, I don't know. That's like, you really got to see that in the 7-game series. Like,
but there's nobody who can do anything to Embiid, really. I don't think in the NBA, really.
Let me switch gears to the Memphis. So on Memphis side of things, you guys, because we're gonna switch gears. What does Memphis have to do better? We know Ja can't give you what he gave you tonight. He's got to be better. Desmond Bane was kind of carrying tonight, but he fell off in that fourth quarter in the second half. Going forward with Memphis, they're a young team. They're still second in the West right now. Great team. Going forward, what do they got to do better, I guess, to reach that next level?
You got to have that closer. You got to have that guy who's going to be able to consistently just get a bucket, be able to go to the rim. You got to, if you're Ja Morant, you have to close out the game, and you can't rely on Bane to take a 3 or JJJ to force up something. You got to be able to
Be
just stay
smarter
shit.
too. You just be smarter out there. That last possession, he tried to drive in on 3 people, including Embiid. That was just stupid.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you're gonna go up, what Ja's got to do is he's got to try to force a foul like everyone, like all the other foul baiters. Like you just got to go in the rim and you gotta do something to get a foul. Or he's good enough to not even just do that. He's able to finish and get something.
Nah, I agree, but you know what the crazy thing with that rage? If I'm a ref and I see a smaller guard try to run in on three tall people, including a center of Joel Embiid's size, I wouldn't call shit just off the stupidity of you driving in on 3 people trying to get something. Yeah. Like that's just overall the decision making wasn't good. Now, if it was in a one-on-one situation and he kind of got a hand in there, you can argue that. But Ja Morant trying to drive in on 3 people and jumping up as high as he can, trying to go for some like Space Jam shit, that wasn't really needed, especially when that immediately resulted in them scoring on the other end and getting a big defensive possession. Just overall decision making was what kind of screwed Memphis out the game.
Yeah, because you worry about that. And, like, if I'm a Memphis Grizzlies fan, our team is so good. I mean, they're one of the best defensive teams in the league. We're a good team. We're second in the West. But you worry about the youth moments at the in the playoffs. They don't really have that veteran guy to, like, slow them down, get a good shot. I mean, Taylor Jenkins, he did a great job with the 3-2 zone, changing it up and the matchup zone they play. But in that fourth quarter, you just said, the decision making is key, man, because bad decisions. You see how quickly the game can turn. They had the momentum dominating the whole game.
They were up by 17 at one point.
Up by 17 at one point.
One good run to kind of just change the tide in a sense. And even if they still had a chance to tie it too, that's crazy.
And they're at a point right now where you'll obviously trust them to get a stop because they're a really insane defensive team, but you don't have that guy to really just end it.
Yeah, and bro, it's like you see, if Philly did this, you gotta think about the Suns, the Mavs, the other teams that can do this.
Nuggets,
just like Philly, the Nuggets, other teams that can do this, just like Philly, man. But overall, it was a great game, man. Appreciate you guys for tuning in with us on this episode of Hoops World. Make sure you guys hit that like button for us and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram. We're on Instagram and on TikTok. Thank y'all.